Okay, so we all know sleep is important, right? It's for rest, for making memories stick. But what if I told you that's just scratching the surface? What if, while you're out cold, your brain is actually running a full-on deep cleaning cycle? Yeah, it's not just resting. It's an active, super important maintenance job. So let's dive in and meet the brain's hidden cleaning crew.
You've probably asked yourself this, right? It's a great question, and it really gets to the core of why a good night's sleep feels so, well, refreshing. Is your brain just switching off for a few hours, or is there something more active going on? Like, is there a whole waste disposal system up there that we never knew about?
Well, the answer is a huge, resounding yes. And get this, it's not just a theory anymore. Scientists have just proved it, for the very first time in living, breathing humans. This is happening in our brains as we speak, or, well, as we sleep.
And I mean, look at how new this all is. The idea itself, this glymphatic system, was only first spotted in mice back in 2012, and it took until 2024, just now, for scientists to actually confirm it's working in living people. This isn't something your parents learned about in biology class. We are literally at the frontier of understanding our own brains.
So, what do we call this thing? Let's meet the brain's hidden and incredibly important janitor. It's officially called the glymphatic system. Kind of a clever name, right? It's a mix of glial cells, those are the brain's support crew, and the lymphatic system from the rest of our body. And its job is simple but crucial, to clear out all the gunk, all the metabolic waste that our brain makes during the day.
Now, this is a really important point. You've probably heard of the lymphatic system, right? It's the network that cleans up waste in the rest of your body. For the longest time, scientists thought the brain was sealed off, that it didn't have anything like that. But surprise, it has its own, totally separate VIP cleaning service, the glymphatic system. And its cleaning fluid, that's cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF.
So thinking of it as the brain's plumbing is a perfect analogy. It's literally flushing out all the junk. Or, it's like a special waste management crew that only works the night shift. It's just a really smart, elegant way nature solved a huge problem: how to keep the brain clean.
Okay, so how does this whole brainwashing thing actually work? Let's break down the mechanics, because they're pretty cool.
All right, it's a three-step process. First, clean cerebral spinal fluid gets pumped into the brain using the arteries as a sort of highway. Then, step 2, that fluid seeps through all the brain tissue, just like water through a sponge. And as it goes, it picks up all this waste. We're talking nasty stuff like beta amyloid, which you've probably heard of in connection with Alzheimer's. And finally, step 3, all that dirty fluid gets collected around the veins and is flushed right out of the brain.
But wait a second, what's the pump? What's pushing all this fluid around? The answer is, well, it's amazing. It's the brain's own electrical activity, the very pulses that make you, that's what's powering the cleaning cycle.
This quote from Dr. Jiangzi just nails it. The neurons, our brain cells, are like miniature pumps, and when they all fire together in those slow, synchronized waves, the kind that happens when you're in deep sleep, they are physically pushing that cleaning fluid through, washing everything out. And that right there brings us to the absolute key to this whole thing. Why does this all depend so heavily on sleep? Why is it so crucial?
Because get this, when you're awake, the glymphatic system barely works. Its activity drops by a jaw-dropping 90%. It's basically switched off during the day.
Just look at this. The difference isn't subtle, is it? We're talking about a massive 10-fold jump in activity when you go from being awake to being in a deep sleep. Your brain is literally waiting for you to power down so it can take out the garbage.
So how on earth does that happen? Well, something pretty incredible happens to your brain when you sleep. The actual physical space between your brain cells opens up. It expands by over 60%. This basically opens the floodgates and lets all that cleaning fluid wash through with way less resistance.
And we even know what the on-off switch is. It's a chemical called norepinephrine. You know that feeling of being alert and focused during the day? That's norepinephrine. When its levels are high, it keeps the space between brain cells squeezed shut. But when you fall asleep, the levels drop, the space expands, and boom, the cleaning cycle kicks into gear.
Okay, so what happens when this super important nightly cleanup doesn't happen? Well, as you can imagine, the consequences are really serious. They're linked to some of the brain conditions we fear the most.
Yeah. When this system isn't working right, it's connected to a whole list of devastating problems. We're talking about things like Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, even the long-term fallout from a traumatic brain injury, or just that general cognitive decline that can happen as we get older. This is not a small thing. It's absolutely central to keeping our brains healthy.
And to make matters worse, as we age, this cleaning system just doesn't work as well. Studies are showing it can become 80 to 90% less efficient. Think about that. Right when our risk for brain diseases is going up, our brain's ability to clean itself out is plummeting. That's a dangerous combination.
And that really brings it all together. You see, the buildup of these specific toxic proteins, like beta amyloid and tau, is the classic sign of diseases like Alzheimer's. The glymphatic system is our main line of defense against that buildup, so when it starts to fail, the results can be just catastrophic.
So, this all leads to a really profound and, honestly, a pretty hopeful question. We finally understand this brain cleaning service. We see what goes wrong when it breaks down. The big question for scientists now is, can we fix it? Can we find ways to boost it, to enhance it, maybe even repair it? Just imagine. Could a simple tune-up for our brain's plumbing be one of the keys to preventing dementia in the future? It's a heck of a thought to end on.